is nothing better than a juicy fresh-picked tomato or a green pepper crunching in your salad. Or how about a cucumber and dip with your lunch? Can't you just taste that zucchini bread right from the oven? Or stir-fried yellow squash? And then there's crunchy lettuce, green onions, and flavor-packed spinach to make a delicious lunchtime salad. If this sounds good to you, here's the best part. These and other healthy foods can all come from your back porch. That's right, we're going to look at a few basic ways to grow them in a small area in containers. We don't all have the land needed for a traditional vegetable garden, but most of us do have a balcony, windowsill, patio, or doorstep that can provide enough space for a mini garden. If you live in an apartment or mobile home, container gardens are a great way to get closer to nature, and it's fun. When we grow and care for plants, we get personal satisfaction from supplying some of our own food. We can lower our grocery bill and increase our intake of vegetables, the building blocks for good health. Remember, we need 3 vegetables a day to get the recommended amounts of vitamin A and C. Vitamins help our bodies fight infections, they form strong teeth and bones, they promote growth, and help our eyes to adjust to light. Gardening does not have to be complicated. You really only need soil, water, and light. Here's a list of vegetables that do well in containers: tomatoes, peppers, squash, lettuce, green onions, and cucumbers. In Kentucky, the best time to plant is in early to mid-May. Tomatoes and peppers are best grown from transplants bought at a farm store or a discount chain. Look for plants that are short with a good stem and no flowers.
Most of them look a little bit yellow, which says maybe a little nitrogen. Certainly more sunlight to bring them up to par, but I think they'll be all right if you get them out right away and get them some sunshine and a little fertilize.
Transplants need to be planted deep enough to cover the roots well. Fill the container about 3/4 full of potting soil mix, water thoroughly, position your plants, and then pour more soil in until it comes to within about 1 inch from the top of the container. One big advantage of container gardening is that you can put the plants in areas that get the most sunlight. Water is life. Because the volume of soil is small, containers can dry out quickly. This is especially true when a mini garden is on a patio in full sun. Water the plants until it runs out of the drainage holes. When the temperature reaches 80 degrees or more, plants may need to be watered twice a day. If the soil feels dry, it's time to water. It's best to give your plants a drink in the early morning. Plants need a good breakfast to start the day. If you don't have a water hose or can, an old milk jug works fine. Be careful not to flood the plant with too much water. It's best to water thoroughly and gently. The soil should never have water standing on top. Plants in clay pots will need to be watered more often than those in plastic ones because clay does not hold moisture as well. When seedlings are 2 to 3 inches tall, it's time to mix a general-purpose fertilizer with the water and use this solution to feed your plants once or twice a week. Just follow the label for mixing the fertilizer solution. A typical label will call for about 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. If the plants you choose to grow are types that like to climb, you may want to consider staking them or putting them in cages. Before you plant, put a wooden stake in the pot while filling with soil. You can use a TP staking system that will give cucumbers a grid to cling to as they grow up. This is a good way to use vertical space. Tomatoes like to be supported with a stake or cage. Put the cage in the container at planting time when the plant is small and there's less chance of breaking stems. All types of pepper transplants are easily grown in containers. The most popular ones are green and yellow bell peppers, hot jalapenos, or banana peppers. Green onions will prosper in just about anything from a window box to an old baking dish. The roots grow so close to the top of the soil that the container does not need to be very deep. Onions are grown from sets and are available where you buy other vegetable transplants. Let's look at the plants that can be started from seed. Squash, cucumbers, and lettuce are common vegetables started from seed. 1 packet will be more than enough to fill 1 average-sized container. If you have any seed left over, you can save the rest in a glass jar in the refrigerator for next season. It's time to think about what type of home to put our plants in. There's no need to buy anything fancy. The only thing to consider is having a large enough container to hold the mature vegetable. Obviously, you will need more space for tomatoes than green onions. For most crops, a 5-gallon drywall bucket, plastic pot, clay pot, window box, or whiskey barrel make good containers. Whatever size, shape, or material you pick, they all must have good drainage. It's best to have holes along the side of the container about 1/2 inch from the bottom. If this is not the case, put about 1 inch of gravel in the bottom of the pot or poke a hole in the bottom. Plants need a clean home to start life in that's free of disease and toxins. If the container was used for other purposes, wash it out with warm water, detergent, and a few spoonfuls of bleach. The next step is to buy a potting soil mix. There are several choices at most stores, but look for one that has peat moss, bark, or perlite mixed. Now let's see. We have seeds, transplants, containers, soil mix, light, and water. That's it. Let's plant. Our seeds are going into a container that has soil mix close to the top. Put 2 or 3 seeds in the center and cover with about 1/2 inch of soil. Scatter lettuce seed in small furrows. You've done the sowing, now it's time to reap the harvest. Vegetables have the best flavor and nutritional quality when they're picked at the height of maturity. Most plants started from seed will be ready to eat within 45 to 60 days. Full-season tomato varieties take 90 to 100 days to ripen fully, but the juicy red fruit is worth the wait. Even if you harvest a few days early when they still have some green color, they will ripen nicely if left on a windowsill. Peppers should be picked when fully green and the size of a baseball. If you can stand the temptation to eat them right away, peppers get sweeter if they're left to turn red. Lettuce can be cut whenever the leaves are as big as you like them. They will continue to regrow after each cutting. A green onion will need to be pulled up occasionally to check for size. When the tops are the size of a pencil, they are ready. Cucumbers can also be eaten at any size that suits your taste. They grow fast, so check on them daily and enjoy. Yellow squash is another vegetable that produces so fast that you might think you can actually see it grow. Squash and zucchini are great in stir-fry, batter-fried, or steamed when they are 5 to 6 inches long. The larger ones can be used as ingredients in cakes and breads. Your mini gardening experience will bring hours of relaxation and enjoyment. The taste of those homegrown vegetables will be more than worth the effort. If you are anxious to start on your garden, you don't have to wait until next spring. Lettuce, spinach, cabbage, radishes, and mustard greens can all be planted in the late summer and harvested in the fall. Remember, the energy we invest into our container gardens will return to us many times over. Check the prices of organic vegetables at groceries. You will see how much money we save by growing them ourselves. Plus, we know we are eating top quality vegetables and gaining a deeper appreciation for the food that sustains us.